Right. So recruitment of individuals from diverse backgrounds, underrepresented individuals in clinical trials is really important. And as a field, we've done a terrible job with it thus far. It's the trial after trial. If you look at the enrollment data, it is primarily highly educated, non-Hispanic white individuals. The question is, why is that? We have certainly people from underrepresented backgrounds are interested in participating in trials. They're not always asked about it. And so part of the conversation is how do we, asking your patients, to participate in clinical trials, offering them clinical trials, and developing recruitment and outreach materials that address the concerns and the wants and the needs of individuals from diverse backgrounds. But in addition to asking, I think we have to do a better job about designing our clinical trials to make them accessible to people from diverse backgrounds. Many of our studies require people to have a study partner, right? So they have to have somebody who's close to them who can come with them to their study visits. That's a big barrier. Our study visits take place Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 p.m. when that study partner who you need is maybe caring for their children out in the workforce. We don't make them accessible to people. We might ask people to drive great distances or navigate a complex medical center for parking. Maybe not even always providing ground transportation for folks. So I think as a clinical trial ecosystem, we have to improve how we provide our trials to people. One promising area is what we call decentralized trials, and I'm not sure even where that name came from, but it's really about allowing people to do many of the study procedures either from the comfort of their home or more local community centers that are more accessible to them rather than having to travel to that big academic medical center that might be many miles away or difficult to navigate. The thought is that this might help just not only increased diversity of racial ethnic diversity, but also that urban-rural, right? So there's also diversity in socioeconomic status, education, where people live. And so we really have to make trials easier to do. One example that has done this is the Trailblazer 3 study, which is a decentralized trial, and it allows the study partner to live in a completely different city from the participant. And the assessments are done online. The study sponsor mails tablets to each individual. They don't have to be completing their assessments at the same time. So the study partner might be able to do their assessments on the nights or the weekends at a different time when the study participant is doing them. So that is one area that we might be able to improve in accessibility, but it also gets back to in terms of making sure that we offer participants clinical trials and providing them with the resources they need to be able to come to those study visits, make them feel comfortable, and allowing them to have that access to the trials. We saw in several instances at the data that was presented at CTAD that studies are doing a little bit better in terms of screening people from underrepresented individuals, right? So they're getting good numbers of people who from diverse backgrounds, at least expressing interest in the studies, but they're screen failing out. They're not meeting those biomarker eligibility criteria. And as a field, we really have to understand what is going on there. Why are these individuals not screening in at the same rates as their non-Hispanic white counterparts? And so that's something that we really have to untangle and understand to make trials more accessible. I'm really excited that we're developing more evidence-based recruitment messaging, right? So really thinking about even just our outreach materials, it's an area of focus of mine, but how do we create messaging and recruitment materials that are welcoming and inviting to people so that from the first moment they hear about a clinical trial, it's represented, it includes the messages that are meaningful and important to different groups. It includes imagery that's important to them, that resonates with them, and really studying. I think there's a true science to recruitment outreach that as a field we tend to overlook. We might have these glossy campaigns that somebody says, oh, this should do well, but really I think this is an opportunity to put our clinical trial methodology to to the test and actually test out different outreach methods, working with our communication science colleagues and really developing these effective outreach campaigns that resonate with people, that are motivating. And again, it ties back to they can be as motivating and encourage, they resonate with people, but again, we have to make the trial ecosystem welcoming and inviting and accessible to people.